Welcome to the Hibbing Economic Development Authority special meeting agenda. Today is July 31st, 2024, 5:30 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Everybody in attendance with the exception of Member Schweiberger and Member Hoffman-Sockman. Additions, deletions, approval of the agenda. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda tonight?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion made by Mayor Hyduk,
Support.
supported by Vice President Durenas. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Approval of the minutes. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Hibbing Economic Development Authority for July 15th, 2024. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Member Kivila,
Support.
supported by Mayor Hyduk. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. On to the consent agenda. Number 1, set the next regular meeting of HEDA for Monday, August 19th, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. in the Hibbing City Hall Council Chamber. Number 2, set the next HEDA working session for Monday, August 19th, 2024, following the regular meeting in the Hibbing City Hall Council Chamber. And number 3, authorize the HEDA board to attend the AMGS expansion project groundbreaking event for 1 p.m. Thursday, August 29th, 2024 at 1122 East 13th Street, Hibbing, Minnesota. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Member Kivila,
I'll support.
supported by Mayor Hyduk. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Presentations. Betsy.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, tonight I have, the first presentation is the AMGS expansion project, GMP and schedule, with Kraus Anderson is here tonight, and they will approach the podium and give their presentation. We have Todd Erickson and Pete Avenen.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Our agenda, we're going to first talk about the cost. Bottom line up front, we're going to tell you where the project is. We're going to go through bid tabulation for what we called Bid Pack 2. It's the bids we opened about 2 weeks ago. From that, we'll go into what we think is the guaranteed maximum price. We'll talk about the total project budget. Then we'll review the schedule for the project. The final thing we will do is go into the different items that I just discussed as they can be approved or voted on. The good news is the project came in $500,000 under the budget that we started with. The budget that we started with is $9 million. We're suggesting that the budget right now is $8.5 million even. The bid package 2. The bids that we publicly opened here. Those bid items add up to a total of $3,755,917. In your bid packet or on the screen, you can see an asterisk that says we have some gaps. There are a few items that we did not receive compliant bids on. And so those items, KA has taken and put an estimate into the budget. We are taking the risk on those items and including that in our guaranteed maximum price. So a couple examples are the overhead crane and then some rubber base in the offices. No bids were received. Compliant, we did not receive compliant bids. The other thing that's included in the guaranteed maximum price, up front we had some alternates. We did that as we were looking for cost-saving measures and didn't know where the prices would come in. So we put in some alternates to consider. One was a mezzanine. Numbers for the mezzanine came in at $181,778. Another one was an upgrade of mechanical. There was some heating units that we were suggesting to upgrade to make up air units. You'll notice that that's a credit. Costs less to go to technically the better heating system. And the third item is adding canopies to the exterior of the building. It's mostly an aesthetic view. Those three alternates total up to $214,000, 242. So is the total for those alternates. As noted, the total project budget is 8.5 million. Those alternates are included in that total number. There are a few items in there that we did not receive pricing on. For the canopies, it's called an EPDM roof. We did not get a price. We think we know, we have some very good estimates of what they are. Again, that's included in the guaranteed maximum price. We're taking the risk on that. And there's some metal cladding on the outside of those canopies. Again, we put in a budget, we're taking the risk. So the bid pack 2 total, if we take the base bid plus the alternates, comes to $3,970,159. Those numbers are translated into a guaranteed maximum price and a total project budget. So our guaranteed maximum price of $7,561,867, that's made up of bid pack 2, which we just showed you, but it's also got bid pack 1, which was the pre-engineered metal building that is currently on order, and the labor to install that building. On this worksheet, you'll see a line that's called bid gap coverage. Bid gap coverage is for those items that we did not get bids on, but we have reasonable estimates in there and we're taking the risk on. One of the items that I said we didn't have a compliant quote on was the crane. $200,000 of the $285,000 in bid gap coverage is for the crane that we are including in our guaranteed maximum price and taking the risk on that quote. The other portion that makes up our guaranteed maximum price is our permits, insurance, contingency, and construction manager fee, which is $1,487,000. And so that's how we get to our $7,561,000. It's the makeup of those three large groups. Overall funding in alignment with where we're at. As I noted before, the total project budget was $8.5 million. A minute ago, I told you KA's guaranteed maximum price is roughly $7.5 million. So where does the other money come from? We budgeted for owner's soft costs. So included in the owner's soft cost that we're helping you identify is your team paid for electrical engineering, paid for architectural design. There's also a contingency for your team, should there be unforeseen items or changes that make sense. So your owner soft costs that we've identified are $938,133. So that's how we get to the $8.5 million suggested budget for the project. Our schedule, obviously in red on the item that's in your packet, is tonight's meeting. From here, we're noting that the guaranteed maximum price contract amendment will be approved on or before August 7th. That is in the works right now. Then we'll start issuing contracts to subcontractors with the intent that we can start some clearing and grubbing by August 12th. The pre-engineered metal building that was approved previously is on order. We have good news that it's coming earlier than anticipated. We anticipate receipt of the building by October 18th. We'll be erecting the building over the winter with the intent that the owner will come in and start installing his equipment lines. He will begin installing those on about March 31st, with our goal of substantial completion by April 25th and final completion towards the end of May. And we've noted those items in there. One item that we note that doesn't fall in with that is bituminous paving and the landscaping. That can't happen this fall because we won't be able to. So we have to wait for the frost to go out in the spring till we can start it. So all of that is budgeted and included in our guaranteed maximum price. Any question on anything that I've gone through? All right. The last part of our presentation, we just noted board approval. The numbering system here is different than what you have in your packet. I believe your packet lays these out as A, B, C, D, E, rather than 1 through 5. So, for discussion with Betsy, I think your team is voting on the budget side of the items first, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, our base bids for bid pack 2, our alternates for bid pack 2, the final GMP for Kraus Anderson, and the total project budget for $8.5 million.
Correct, Madam Chair, that would be item, board report, item A. And then their schedule for approval, the substantial completion date that they have listed up there would be item B under the board report.
Oh, for the schedule.
Yep.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
does this fall underneath the city's project labor agreements?
I'm sorry,
Yes.
say that again?
I said, does this fall underneath the city's project labor agreements? Or is-
That is correct.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions?
No, it seems like I'll just make a comment. Seems like you're pleased with where we're at right now. You seem to be extremely pleased that we're staying on schedule, which was one of our biggest concerns when we were first talking about trying to fit this project in. So would that be an accurate statement?
Accurate statement.
Thank you.
Excellent, so at
Okay,
this time,
well,
Madam
I
Chair, we
think-
can have them sit down and we'll vote on those
Yes,
items in a
absolutely.
second.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So item 2 in my presentation then is the Jefferson School redevelopment project. You have in your packet a couple of items with this. We've been workshopping this a couple of months in advance. One is a MOU of memorandum of understanding with the Sunrise Bakery for right of entry into the Jefferson School project, and also the ability to work on what a scope of that could look like for a potential redevelopment for housing. The city did a housing needs analysis in 2023 in conjunction with our HRA, and we came to the conclusion that there's a lot of housing need in the community. This is a building that could be potentially repurposed for housing, market rate of some kind or some such. There is a planned development that is there already, so we've been talking to our zoning official, but at this point, we would just look at what is the building condition and what could the scope of it look like to potentially reuse that building for housing at that time. So in your packet, you have both that MOU laying out the ability for the city, or for the EDA to work with a consultant to look at that particular building as a potential housing redevelopment project. There's a right of access agreement for the EDA and our consultant to access that property and work really well with the Sunrise Bakery, who owns it currently. And then there's an agreement with New History as the consultant to work on that project with us. You will see that there's a July 31st agreement that New History sent our way just today on a conversation I had with them about tweaking the agreement slightly. I told them I wanted a maximum at this time of $15,000 to work with them on that scoping around that project of that size. And the items that are in that agreement are to look, do a tour, look at the as-built, the architectural drawings, those sorts of things, and see, what could a rough cost be, and are there any red flags to do that kind of a redevelopment, and then a potential for, if there's a private developer that does this development, is there historic tax credits or those sorts of things that would apply for a potential reuse project. So at this time, we're just doing a study around it, kind of like we've done on some other locations around town, and that's what I'd ask for your approval on those tonight. Any questions on the potential redevelopment project?
Is that building empty now, or?
No, there's still a couple of tenants in there, so we'll look at keeping those tenants in there. One is the Sunrise Bakery, they use that as their bakery, baking center, and then there's a childcare that's in there. And I think they have somewhere in between 40 and 60 slots, which are very essential to our community. So we don't want to disturb that tenant either.
So they would be able to stay there then?
At this point, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a private developer that's kind of interested in having conversations as the city moves along, but nothing really formal yet. So is interested in figuring out what, you know, what the potential reuse could be as well. So I will keep in contact with them as we go along.
So Betsy, what I hear you saying is you just want to do a study of this building from a city point of view, so that if we talk to private developers who might be interested, we would have some answers for them.
Correct. And for the private owner as well, right now. Paul and Hannah Forty have been gracious enough to work with us on this agreement. So, because they would like to, you know, at some point, see if there could be a redevelopment of some kind, you know, whether they own it or not, but.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Is that it for
All right.
the
Yes, it is. So we can go into the voting agenda.
presentations? Okay, so then we can move on to the board reports then from there, Betsy, the communication.
Right, so item number A, Madam President and members of the board, is that first item. So I don't know if, in your packet you have them, approve the guaranteed maximum price for the AMGS expansion project, which includes the bid pack, the budget, and the alternates, and the overall project budget, which was presented for items 1 through 4 by Todd and Paul. Excuse me.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the AMGS expansion project?
And excuse me, Madam Chair, the motion needs to be to approve the GMP, the project budget, and the alternates as presented? Okay,
And that's all in the same motion?
yes.
Okay.
And that would be for a total of 7561867.
No, it needs to be for the full 8.5
8.5.
Oh,
million.
okay.
8.5.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, we should include the amount.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Okay, do we have a motion?
I will make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion made on the floor by Vice President Steve Drainus. Do we have a second?
I'll support that.
Supported by Mayor Pete Hyduk. Is there any further discussion on this presentation? Okay. I will also vote on this since I am the fourth one. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Then we can move on to,
Yes, excellent. Item B is to approve the schedule for the AMGS expansion project as presented tonight by Kraus Anderson.
okay, we have a motion to approve the schedule for tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the schedule, Madam Chair.
Motion made by Mayor Hyduk,
I'll second that.
supported by Member Kivala. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Excellent.
On to C.
Yes, I ask that you approve the MOU with the Sunrise Bakery for the Jefferson School redevelopment project at this time, as presented in your packet.
What was the dollar amount on that again?
15,000?
The MOU and the access agreement don't have it, but the third item is a maximum of $15,000. I do have that in my EDA budget line item for professional fees right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the memorandum of the understanding with Sunrise?
So moved.
Moved by Member Kivala,
I'll support.
supported by Mayor Hyduk. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. On to D.
I'd like that you would, or request that you approve the right of access agreement for the Jefferson School redevelopment project as worked through with our legal.
Do we have a motion to approve the right of access agreement for the Jefferson School?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Motion made by Mayor Hyduk,
Support.
supported by Vice President Drainus. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. E.
And finally, approve the agreement with New History for the Jefferson School redevelopment project, with a maximum cost of $15,000.
Do we have a motion for this?
So moved.
Moved by Member Kivala,
I'll support.
Supported by Mayor Hyduk. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so that's A through E, so we're through with the presentations, board reports. If that's all we have, that's it for tonight?
I'll move for adjournment.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn made by Member Kivala,
I'll support.
supported by Mayor Hyduk. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.